Hey YouTube, we have another laptop review here. My 6th laptop, actually. I got this one for free, and as you can tell, it's probably a couple of years old here. So, yes it is. This is a Dell Latitude CPI series, and these were kicking excuse me, back around, let's say 1999, 2000, so it's what, about 9-10 years old now. I have updated the BIOS to A15, which is the latest one, and I'll tell you that was really a pain to do. For being as old as this is, it's really in pretty good shape. As you can see, I am missing the O key here. It's not mine. It is now, but it only has been for a week. So most of the life of this has been with actually one of my good friends. So hasn't really been under my care. But as you can see, a lot of times with the old Dells, or really any old laptop, the screen gets really loose, and you go like that and it flops right down. Well, as you can see with this one, it's actually in pretty good shape. Also, as you can see, maybe online there, that this hinge is kind of broken here. But, you know, being 10 years old and being used a lot, all with totally default hardware, none of it's been replaced to my knowledge. So we go. We have a clean copy or a clean install of Windows 2000 Pro Service Pack 4 on here. Let's go into the BIOS real quick here. The number of this is the Dell Latitude CPI A366XT. 366 is, yes, the processor speed in megahertz. So it's Pentium 2, 366 megahertz. This unit came with a couple different model processors. 200 megahertz, I believe, 250, and then the 366, which is the best. And I'll say right now, it's not exactly the fastest ship in the fleet, but that's okay. Right now, it has 128 meg RAM in it. I'd like to get that up to 256 pretty soon. Internal cache 256K, system memory 128 meg. Video controller, let's just say Neo Magic 2200. Video memory 2.5 meg. Audio controller Neo Magic 2200. It's a 12 gig hard drive. It's really slow and you can probably hear it. Well, you know, what do you expect? We've got 6 pages in the BIOS. You do the Alt-P thing to switch between a couple different options here. You know, not a real bad BIOS. If I can figure out how to get out of it here. Escape. The 3 lights here, we have power light, disk read and write light, and then the battery charging light. It'll turn orange if you need to charge it up. It'll flash green when you are charging. While this is booting, it's going to take a while. We'll take a tour around the outside of the notebook. So I think we can close it while it's booting. We flip it up like this. On the back, there is an infrared port, S-Video, VGA, yeah, it's old, serial. And then hiding under this little trap door here is, I believe that is a parallel port. Not so much used anymore, but I believe it was used for printing. USB 1.1 LPT, also used for printing. A fan, switch it over. This is where the power plugs in. You don't really see that a whole lot. Maybe on the HP Pavilion line, but your power plugs in right here. Over to the left, nope, that's not Ethernet, that's not modem. That is a fan vent. I don't believe there's a fan in there, but there is a heat sink right there, and it vents warm air out of there. Power jack, some audio thing, I have no idea what it is. It's like 2 parentheses with a line pointing through half of it and an arrow in the middle. I don't know, I've never really seen that. Headphones, and then your microphone. Right audio speaker there. You can hear 2000 boot up. Wasn't really a very good boot time. On the front are your 2 bays where you can put either 2 batteries or a battery and a CD or floppy disk drive, whatever you want to do. Here's your other speaker, your left speaker, Kensington. I'm pretty sure the hard drive's in here, and then 2 PCMCIA card slots. Front, you don't really get that typical Dell logo. This is kind of a square. It says Dell at the top and then Latitude CPI below. By the way, your microphone's right there. It is built in. No pointing stick with this one. You don't get that, but you do get your trackpad with right and left mouse buttons. Pretty much what you'd expect. Power buttons up here, right under where it says Dell Latitude. It's not really that thin. What do you expect? Screen actually isn't that bad. It's 1024 by 768 at 60 Hz native resolution. You can bump it up to 1280 by 800, but then you kind of scroll a little bit and it's a huge pain. I put 98 on it for a while and it was no faster, so I think this is about as fast as it's going to get with a clean copy of W2K. As you might be able to see there, Microsoft Windows 2000 5.00 2195 to build, Service Pack 4, x86 processor obviously, and 130,528K of RAM. There's no Wi-Fi card in this, and yes, I didn't make a mistake. There's no Ethernet and there's no dial-up modem in this. So over here I have two ways to get around both of those problems. Here's a PCI Ethernet card, or PCMCIA, excuse me. You can take this Ethernet card, put it in right here. Actually pretty simple. Then I have this D-Link wireless card, which you can also, there's two slots, so you can have both in at the same time. Take this card, push it in, see the light comes on. You are going to need the drivers, so hopefully when you bought it, it came with the CD. Pop the CD in, disk drive, and then you should be able to use their client, since Windows 2000 doesn't have a wireless client or piece of software to use with it. You could run XP on here, but it would be really slow, and I don't suggest it. You max this out at 512 meg of RAM, and that'd be expensive because this is SDRAM 100 megahertz. Let's take that out. One thing that's kind of cool with this is if you don't want the CD drive, you can pull this thing over and see if I can do it with one hand. Apparently not. You can just pull the CD drive right out and replace it with another battery. So then you have double the weight and double the battery life, which I suppose could be useful. CD drive or battery. This one's just battery. The RAM's in here. No screws hold this stupid thing down. So I have to put the camera down. And with about all my force, I've got to push this stupid thing and lift it up on one end. Stupidest design I've ever seen on a notebook. Leave it to Dell to come up with this. Got to hold it up, pull on it, and push on it, and then it kind of pops out. Anyways, once we get that piece of junk off, here's what we're left. Left with 128 meg of SDRAM, and I think that's the BIOS chip. Not totally sure there. So I would like to get another 128, pop that in there, and we should be good to go with 256 meg. That's a lot better than 128. And then this thing, it's the easiest thing in the world to put back on. That's the funny part, I think. There we go. So, for the age it is and the specs it is, I'm actually... Well, maybe I take that back. Oh, that's funny. It just froze on me. Alright, whatever. So, there's the Dell Latitude CPI A366XT. Kinda old, really slow. I don't really recommend it. If you have one, you could probably just use it for parts or sell it to somebody else online. If it doesn't work. If it does work and you're happy with it, then it's decent. It supports the 32-bit color, even though you only have 2.5 meg of video RAM. But hey, you know what? You can close it. You can get a couple hours out of these batteries, at least the ones I've got. So there you go. Dell Latitude CPI A.